Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Trail Pass. So this is our Subaru Outback Wilderness. You may have seen it in a couple of recent videos, but Subaru does have a little brother vehicle to this, and it is actually the Forester Wilderness. So we have them both here today. We'll do a little bit of a walk around and compare some of the differences. And for two vehicles with the same name and a lot of the same components, they are actually very different, and hopefully we can help you with which one might be better for you. So the Subaru Outback Wilderness package gives you a lot of similar features, whether you're looking at the Forester or the Outback. Namely, you do have a suspension lift, about an inch over stock ride height. It also gives you some Geolander tires by Yokohama and some blacked out wheels. So you can see the 5-spoke design here on the Forester. We walk around here to the Outback, and a very similar package, a little bit bigger tire here on this one, but it does come with a 6-spoke. But both of these vehicles, again, are styled very, very similarly. They do have a lot of the same features. Kind of a blacked out appearance look with some plastic bumpers. But both of them do have some similar upgrades as well. So they both have an LED headlight, LED fog lights, and again, just kind of that blacked out, tough off-road looking appearance package. So looking under the hood of these two vehicles is where one of the main differences is. So this is a 2.5 liter boxer engine, shared with a lot of other Subaru models, right?
Yes. So that's going to share every other Subaru model aside from the Impreza, which is a 2.0, the base and premium Crosstreks, which are also 2.0, Crosstrek Sport and Limited step up to the 2.5.
But this motor is a non-turbo, like you said, and it does have a lot of that really easy serviceability that you've come to know with a lot of other Subaru models. So you can see the oil filters right here, and you can get to several other fill points around the engine. Your dipstick's also very easily to get to, and you can't see a lot of it because it is covered up with this large engine cover. Now moving over here, you can immediately see a difference. So we have a giant top-mounted intercooler right here, and this motor is turbocharged. So it's actually a 2.4 liter engine, and it does make a considerable amount more torque, almost 100 foot-pounds, and considerable more horsepower as well. But this motor is also shared with several other vehicles as well, right?
Yes, so it's shared with the Ascent, the Outback XTs, and the Legacy XTs.
So again, two definitely different engines, but overall pretty similar design. Again, both are boxers, both are very, very serviceable, and both are kind of corporate engines for Subaru in a lot of their vehicles. So coming around here to the side of the Forester, and you can see really what makes the Forester different than the Outback, and that is the overall look of a crossover. But more wilderness features that you do get an upgraded roof rack. They're saying the static load is raised up to about 800 pounds, I believe. So that gives you more than enough if you want to put a rooftop tent on your vehicle, which is really, really good for the overlanding crowd and the off-road crowd. Definitely makes your vehicle more ready to go camping and that sort of thing. And another thing, you actually get a textured plastic here. I'm not sure how well it's going to show up on camera, but it looks almost like a carbon fiber type weave. You come around here to the Outback, and again, you get kind of that wagon look. So a little bit longer vehicle and lower vehicle, but overall, again, very similar treatments to both. But you look here, you get more of a plastic satin finish instead of that textured plastic. And you go around up here to the roof rack, and a very similar treatment on the roof rack as well. So one feature that the Outback Wilderness does have that's different is it actually has a hands-free tailgate. So I'm actually learning how this works right here on camera. So we'll move back here to the back. Once you have that button on and you have the key with you, you can just...
Yeah, I was gonna say, you can have the key with you in your pocket, right above the emblem here.
So you do have an additional button here to put up the hatch by itself. You also have that ability on the key fob, but with this hands-free feature, you might have your hands full of groceries, or you might be holding your baby in your hands or something like that. You just rest your hand or your arm or something right over that logo, and it does pop right open, which is a really cool idea.
The biggest thing Subaru does with that as well, putting it on the emblem as opposed to, there's a lot of manufacturers that do it under the bumper here. It's an off-road vehicle. You're going to get mud under there. You don't want to look like a fool sitting here waving your leg and it's not going to open.
Yeah, so that's super cool. And again, with it being up high, you're very unlikely to damage it. And yeah, a really cool feature that we just learned about. So looking here in the interior of the Outback, and one thing that's very divisive for this vehicle is that large screen. So pretty much everything is controlled through there, from your heated seats to your navigation to your climate controls largely. And again, all that is through the screen. There's very, very few physical buttons in here other than what's on the steering wheel. But it is a pretty good system once you start to learn how it all works. But overall, a really nice interior. They do have these StarTech seats, which are very nice and very easy to clean. And it does have some of the gold accents from the exterior of the vehicle carried in here as well, which do help to brighten it up in here a little bit. But overall, it is a very dark, blacked out interior and very easy cleaning interior for that off-road enthusiast. Now, I just mentioned that this vehicle does have heated seats, but one thing it is missing is a heated steering wheel. It is available in some other Outback models, but for whatever reason, the Outback Wilderness does not have that. Another thing it does not even offer here for this vehicle is a Harman and Kardon stereo system. So again, that is available in other Subaru products, but for whatever reason on the Outback Wilderness, it is not. So looking here in the interior of the Forester Wilderness, and there is an automatic departure from everything you just saw in the Outback. So it does have a dual screen setup, but these screens handle a lot less features. You do have physical climate control knobs and a physical knob for your dual X mode. So again, a very, very different user interface here, but overall very similar finishes and a very similar experience once you're inside. Now, some other features this vehicle does have, it actually has a larger sunroof than what you would find in the Outback, which is very interesting. It also has the Sport Sharp mode and the intelligent drive modes there on the steering wheel, which the Outback does not have any of those drive modes. It only has the X mode. Now, interestingly enough, here in the Forester, it does come with the Harman Kardon stereo system. So again, not even optional in the Outback, but here in the Forester, it is part of the Wilderness package, which is very, very nice. A couple of things we forgot to mention here on the Subaru Forester Wilderness is it does have a couple different aftermarket parts. So it does have the purple badges here, that's aftermarket. It does have a giant Hoonigan sticker on the back. That's obviously aftermarket. It does have a 5-inch tip nameless exhaust, an axle back here on this one, and it does have some rock blocks, mud flaps here on this one. And I actually really love the look of this one. I love rock blocks, and that's something that we've actually been heavily considering putting on our Outback. So if you see that in a future video, or if you'd like to see that in a future video, definitely let us know. So overall, these vehicles are built and compete kind of similarly together, but there is one big difference, and that is the price. So they actually start about $4,000 difference, and that's for a couple different reasons, right? Yes.
So the biggest reason is going to be the Outback has the turbo. That's about $2,000 right there. It does have the bigger 11.5-inch infotainment system, which is another $1,500 to $2,000 right there. Granted, the Forester does add the Harman Kardon, which adds a little bit. I think they did that just to raise the price of the Forester a little bit, but I'm not speaking on Subaru's behalf on that one. That's just an educated guess.
But overall, I think it was very smart for Subaru to come out with the Wilderness package, and I think it's honestly creating some new buzz and bringing some new eyes onto the dealership. So, you know, a lot of people that buy Subarus are you know, serial Subaru buyers, let's call them, where, you know, they come off of, say, a 2010 Forester, they're looking for a new vehicle, and they automatically go and look at a new Forester. Where these vehicles, I think they're, you know, increasing the buzz. I mean, certainly the off-road and overland community is a very buzzworthy thing. It's a very Instagram worthy thing, and a lot of people are getting into it for those reasons. But Subaru built this vehicle to go right after that crowd, and it is working. I would say it is bringing new people to the dealerships, and it is creating some new buzz around the brand. And overall, I mean, these vehicles are different enough from their stock counterparts and their more base model counterparts that you really couldn't do this by yourself. I mean, you could certainly add a small lift, you could certainly add different tires, but to get the dual mode X mode and to re-gear and those sort of things, I mean, you may find some kind of aftermarket workaround for that, but it's going to be much more expensive than the premium that you're going with to get a Wilderness, you know, straight from the dealership. And this comes with a warranty. It's been engineered to work all together. It's not like you're just going through some parts catalog for some aftermarket company and you're buying a bunch of random parts, slapping it together and hoping it all jives while you're going down the road. They're both very comfortable vehicles to drive down the road, and they ride a lot more normally than they look. I mean, they certainly stand out in a crowd, but you know, mine is actually my wife's car. You know, she drives it to work, she drives it to take the baby to daycare, and it's a normal everyday car, which is really good. And you know, that's where it really beats out a lot of the vehicles it competes with, I would say.
Absolutely. And I mean, I daily mine too. I've got 6,500 miles on it in the last 10.5 months. And I mean, I love it. I've owned Foresters for 5 years now, 5 or 6 years. And I'm one of those serial Subaru enthusiasts. I mean, I had an 18 premium Outback, the black edition. Love that car. It was amazing. Started working at the dealership, stepped up to a 2020 Sport. Loved that one too. Had absolutely nothing wrong with it. Got an offer on that car that was more than I paid for it. Couldn't turn it down. Decided to custom order a Wilderness, and I have been nothing but pleased with it. I absolutely love this car.
Yeah, and we have a very serious or similar experience, excuse me, but this is actually our first Subaru. So we've come off a long line of Toyotas. My wife's most recent car was a 2017 RAV4, and that was a really great car, but ultimately it lacked character, and that's one thing that the Subaru Wilderness does not lack. It's been a really fun vehicle. It's something that my wife is very proud to drive, and ultimately they don't break the bank. So again, they're about $4,000 difference. This one spec'd out the way it sits was about 38. This one, the way it sits, was about 42. But you can certainly, especially in the post-COVID days, spend a lot more on vehicles, and we were very fortunate to find these. If you can find one on a lot, you should definitely take one for a test drive. It very seriously could surprise you. So let us know what you think down in the comment section below. Thank you all very much for watching. Have a fantastic week, everybody, and we'll catch you next time. See ya.